Los Angeles Chargers trying to build a competitive team with a very competitive coach now there. The latest move, not a receiver, although they clearly need receivers. We talked about that recently. They hardly have enough on their depth chart to fill out all the boxes. They have as many receivers as tight ends right now. They've added running back J.K. Dobbins. This is the second running back that Jim Harbaugh has signed from John Harbaugh's Ravens.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards signed recently, and now J.K. Dobbins, who tore his Achilles last year. Contract year wiped out by that injury. He was rehabbing with Aaron Rodgers at one point. And Dobbins, a guy who has been, there's a knee question with him.
Yeah.
And he had knee injuries in the past. But, man, when he plays, he's got like a ridiculously high yards per carry. But a lost season last year. He had the torn ACL, I think, in his second year. And now he's getting his chance to turn things around, working for John's brother Jim in L.A. with the Chargers.
Yeah, he's had a tough go, J.K. Dobbins. Hopefully he can get back healthy and get back, close to what he was before these injuries. Because before the injuries, he was, on pace to be damn good, one of the better running backs in football, right? A guy that, you go, well, hey, he can score from anywhere. You give him a hole, he's got the speed to go 70 to the house. And I'm not shocked, right? I mean, hey, we know it's the NFL. It's about hiring people you trust, you're comfortable with, right? You should put up that list again, guys, if you don't mind. I mean, not only is it those two guys, right? Hayden Hurst was in Baltimore. They know him a little bit, right? The GM at least does. Bradley Bozeman, the offensive lineman they said, he once was in, Baltimore as well. So, again, these are guys that I think help the culture. They know they can trust the person and what they are, let alone they fit a mold of Harbaugh-type football, which we know is going to be Baltimore Ravenish at its core anyways.
Hayden Hurst is the tight end that was taken middle of round 1, 2018, when ownership was saying, take Lamar Jackson, take Lamar Jackson. And they
read the board right. And they were like, hey, wait, he'll be there.
And they came back in and got him. Gets back to what we were talking about earlier. When you don't have an agent, you can slide down the board, and that was to the advantage of the Baltimore Ravens. So, look, I know they really want to have a running game to complement Justin Herbert. If you can get an attack that forces extra attention up toward the line of scrimmage, that makes it easier for Justin Herbert to throw. At some point, though, as we discussed when we went over the Chargers draft needs, they need receivers. And presumably the draft is where they're going to get their receivers, starting with that 5th overall pick, unless they trade down. Yesterday we wrote something about Drake May and where his betting odds are. You can't bet as of yesterday on which team he lands with. They took that off the board, but you can bet on the spot. He's the overwhelming favorite to be the 5th pick, which would mean the Chargers, Chris, would trade down to someone who comes up to get Drake May. And I assume that if May is there after pick 4, that 5th pick, the trade down, trade up, presumably would be the Vikings. Presumably Jim Harbaugh can set aside the fact that the Vikings didn't hire him 2 years ago, because if it's going to bother anybody, it's going to bother him. If anybody holds grudges, it's him. But that minus 2,000 Drake May to be the 5th pick, there's no way he's going to be the Chargers pick, so they would trade down and then address their receiver needs after that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked by that. Again, I think you and I both look at it, and we said this early on in the process. I don't know if I look at the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh as being a guy of, oh, I want this one guy, right? And that'll change my team as far as, I think he looks at it a little more big picture. I don't look at him going, oh, I need a receiver. I need that guy, that receiver. That's not how I look at it. I feel like if he stays at 5, it'd be an offensive lineman or something that, is more towards his core values of what he believes. But, I think ultimately I'm kind of like there with what you're saying. I can understand them trading down, right? They got holes on their football team. They need depth. There's certainly positions that need to be addressed, and you got some other places where, hey, they're pretty good at this position, but guys are getting up there in age, and you're like, hey, we're paying them a lot of money. They're getting up there in age. We got to start thinking about the future. So there's a lot to be done there. I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see them trade out.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.